Here's all the ingredients that you need. Are you overwhelmed? I'm overwhelmed. You have to be brave. This is massive. It permanently changes you. Oh my God, am I losing my friggin' mind? I don't know, either a nightmare or a dream. Life is messy, it is big, it is bold, and do you feel the revolution, the revelations inside of you and also out there in the world? Yes, that is Pluto booming into Aquarius, and the world, not just your country, not just your life, but the world and planet Earth is changing forever. The way we have known it or experienced it is completely altering now. You are not even ready for this video. It is long, it is big, and it is really deep. So, like I promised, today's video is going to be about transiting Pluto in Aquarius in aspect to your sun. And I'm going to go into all the nitty-gritty details, and I'm going to show you all the different aspects. We're going to talk about the conjunction, the sextile, the trine, the opposition, and the mighty square. So hold on to your hats. And even if you don't have this aspect, I want you to learn about it, because somebody you know might have this aspect, and it will teach you how Pluto operates by transit. I actually thought I was going to be able to do all of the planets in a video, but there is no possible way, because Pluto is too deep, it's too raw, it's too powerful, it's too poignant. It deserves this conversation. It's time to be friends with the god of hell. Knowledge is power. If you don't know your aspects, if you don't know what an opposition is, if you don't know what a conjunction is, it's okay. Stay with me, because I help you. And this is a 20-year transit, and we've only taken our very first breath into it. So you have 20 years to learn this, okay? Don't get discouraged. But if you're feeling a little bit confused, if you're feeling like you don't know what an aspect is actually just a conversation, an easy conversation, a challenging conversation, a motivating and inspiring, a supportive, or an antagonistic conversation between two planets. And in this video, I'm talking about Pluto having just changed signs from Capricorn and now into Aquarius. And we're sitting today at the very first degree of Pluto in its new constellation of Aquarius. And it's quite uncomfortable. Is your life messy? My life is messy. Is your life chaotic? My life is chaotic. Is your life busy? My life is busy. Are you overwhelmed? I'm overwhelmed. So if you're feeling any of that, welcome to the club and welcome to Aquarius. I'm sure my Aquarians can all agree with me that Aquarius energy is chaotic. It's unsettling. It's restless. It just has zingers in every direction. It blindsides you, it shocks you, and it's highly uncomfortable. Now, I'm not saying they're not nice. I'm actually married to one, and I love it because they keep you on your toes. They advance you. They grow you. Aquarians are good like that. But this energy is discombobulating. It is literally got me on the ropes, and then it lets me breathe. And then it's got me on the ropes, and then it lets me be peaceful. I'm like, oh my God, am I losing my friggin' mind? Transiting Pluto in Aquarius is in an exact trine practically to my Mars. So that's why. And I'm going to talk to you about your natal chart. So I want you to pull out your hopefully gorgeous natal chart that you bought at shopsoulnavigation.com. My charts are super easy to read. I don't really like those free ones that you can get because they're not color coded. They're not easy to read. Go check out my chart and you'll see there's an example of Adele's chart on the front page. But I want to take you into the more scholarly depths of what's really going on. And I want to make this personal to you. So in this video today, I can't get through all the planets. And I'm going to go through the conjunction, the opposition, the sextile, the trine, and the square for the sun aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. But I have to also tell you this one other thing, and that is we have so many important things happening right now that I want to dedicate some of my near future videos to those absolutely critical changes that are happening astrologically. 2025 is just going to be, I don't know, either a nightmare or a dream. maybe both. It is going to be very difficult energy to navigate. And I want to talk to you about the most important dates. I want to talk to you about the eclipses. I want to talk to you about all of it. And I feel like I'm racing through time and I don't have enough time to tell you. So I want you to know that this series is powerful. It's important. I would really love for you to spend time on my entire Pluto playlist. Why? I want you to understand what Pluto is in your chart. It actually is the most powerful pulse in your natal chart. We're not looking at the progressed chart. We are looking at the natal chart. Now, if you are advanced, you can go and look at your progressed chart by all means. But I just want you to know right now, we are looking at your natal chart. I want you to take a look at your chart. Listen to this whole video because you're going to understand your transits that will be coming up, even if you're not experiencing them right now. Today is low budget film day, but you can see I'm working with my fancy lights. Why? Because I got bored. I got bored with my background. Right now, we're going to talk about transiting Pluto at those early degrees in Aquarius in aspect to your sun. If you need help, watch this video. And after this video, I want you to go find my playlist called Understanding the Aspects in Astrology. I have 58 videos on aspects, and I want you to dig into that playlist so you can understand aspects. And if you already purchased my aspect finder, I don't have any more left. I'm sold out, but you can use your aspect finder to help you find your aspects to this transiting Pluto in Aquarius in the early degrees. So if Pluto is making an aspect, any aspect to your sun, and it doesn't matter which one, this is an absolutely critical time for you. This is a pivotal time, and you probably are feeling the rumblings of intense change, or you're wanting intense change. Your identity is under construction, if you will, and this is for the next 20 years. Now, if you're not yet feeling this, it's okay. Sometimes it takes a minute after the ingress. That means when it changes signs, when Pluto just got out of Capricorn. So it might take a moment to feel the change coming on, but you could feel an intuition or a restlessness or a dissatisfaction with how your life is at this moment. But Pluto is going to bring you a new power and the ability to understand more deeply the psychological truths that will most likely undo you, redo you, and rebuild you. Yes. Pluto in aspect to the sun needs to be by a pretty tight orb. I start to consider it at 10 degrees, but really it needs to be within those 5 degrees. It is fairly rare. When it happens, it will sit in those 5 degrees for quite a while, for probably 4 years, maybe even a little bit longer. One thing you can do is you can go to shopsoulnavigation.com and you can purchase a chart called Bi-Wheel with today's transits. And that way you can actually see these aspects in play if you need a little tool or assistance. So you're going to put your natal chart in the middle. And if you have us do it for you, we can make you a Bi-Wheel if you just purchase one in the shop. And then we put the transits on the outside wheel. And so we are looking for where that Pluto is in aspect to your natal sun. So right now, Pluto is at those very early degrees, 0, 1, and 2, because it's about to go retrograde later, a little bit later in the year. Now, Pluto doesn't move very fast. So like I said, if you are experiencing an aspect from transiting Pluto at 0, 1, or 2 degrees Aquarius to your sun, it's going to play with you for a while. And so these are long transits. This is not like the moon. This is not like Mars. This is something that is going to take place over years. And so you are being shaped by this transit in a very deep and profound way. But the shifts and the changes could be both shocking and subtle, but they are shape-shifting and ongoing. There's a longevity to the lessons that come through Pluto. It permanently changes you. It is through kind of a brutal process, to tell you the truth. It's trying to create an opportunity for you to become a more powerful life force energy. You may have an opportunity to step into a more powerful version of yourself. And this version has never been developed before. This is a new piece of you. This isn't an old piece of you. This is a new power. And I'll tell you, it could at first feel like you're staring down the barrel of a shotgun. You have to be brave to do that. Pluto is so intense, I almost don't have the words for it. You will face the harder, the darker truths about your entire existence and also about the existence of others and also the existence of humanity and our Earth. This is massive. You're going to see that when you change your psychological truth, your relationship to your own identity shifts, it is going to affect your partner, your family, your health, your work. It is also going to change your delusions, your illusions, your dreams, your fantasies, and your will. You are going to be taking a very deep look at your own soul, the light that lives inside your body, the eternal light that is the essence of you. You're going to be undergoing a transformation of your own self on earth, your identity, presentation of self, and who you are being in the world today. Do you like that person that you're being? Honest question. Do you like yourself? If you don't, this is the time that you can create powerful and enormous change. This transit will create a new birth of you. If Pluto is making an aspect to your sun, this is the metamorphosis of your identity on Earth. This is not a transit for those who are weak-willed or living in such denial that they cannot step into the truth, the objective truth, not the perceived truth, but the objective truth. Why objective? Because, my friends, we are not dealing with Cancer, which is subjective. We are not dealing with Scorpio, which is subjective. We are not dealing with Taurus, which is subjective. We, my friends, are dealing with Aquarius, which is the most objective sign of the entire zodiac. Aquarius rules the higher octave of Mercury, Uranus, and it is detached, strategic, analytical, and objective. It is the sign, I think, that can get the most honest with the truth. Here's all the ingredients that you need. You need courage, you need faith, and you need the ability to change. Not everybody likes that. This is when I say, be flexible, be bendy. The bendable willow reed is the metaphor you need to become. I think the willow reed that is so bendable is the most powerful thing you can be right now. Have the will and have the courage to look at your own self, your own identity, and your own life with a deep psychological penetration and get in touch with the honesty around your wounds. Are you, here's my question, are you unnecessarily holding on to wounds that do not serve you any longer? Have they expired? Are you over them yet? Do you need to learn the power of forgiveness in order to heal from these wounds? Do you need to walk away from unhealthy friendships, partnerships, jobs? What needs to be sloughed off, sloughed away, killed off in your life right now that is no longer healthy? You might have an awareness of what you want to get rid of, and the universe may have another plan for you. So this might not go exactly the way you want it to or the way you choose it to. I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you have habits in your own life that you inherited from your parents? Do you now place those habits onto those whom you love? Now, that's an honest question. A lot of people parent their children differently than the way they were parented. And I know so many of you that are listening to this video are so healthy that hopefully you are doing things differently. But many people in the world are doing exactly the same wounds to their children that they received as a child to their parents. Basically, with Pluto aspecting the sun, we are given an opportunity to look at the darker sides of ourself, our soul. We're going to be highly, highly dissatisfied with the low functioning parts of us that might be controlling us or running our show. And we will either change them or they will create such destruction in our life that things will be actually removed for us. I want you to start the psychological look, that penetrating deep look into your own soul and who you are being. And if you are dissatisfied with how your life is showing up for you, or if you're not liking any parts of yourself, this is the time when you can also step into the power of making healthier changes for yourself. Changes that will relate to, communicate with the highest version of yourself. Because when you do that, you become the most powerful human being you are capable of. At first, I think you're going to see how you were possibly victimized by others. This is the opportunity with Pluto here to learn how to forgive those who victimized you. And I'll give you a clue on how to do that. It's about developing empathy for the person who abused you or hurt you or who victimized you. It doesn't mean you have to agree with what they did or give them a free pass. It just means to get compassionate around their brokenness, why they became corroded, why they became toxic, and how their own life was ruined. Cruel people experienced cruelty usually. Forgiveness, my friend, is the key to this transit. If you don't forgive, you can't heal. The wounds that live inside of you become crystallized, cynical weapons that you may or could possibly use unknowingly or knowingly against others. I'm not saying you do that, but there's a possibility your unhealed wounds usually lash out. You can end up with this transit just holding on to the grudges and the pain and the suffering and the sorrow and just becoming rock solid in your victimization and end up just being a completely bitter old person. And I don't want that for you. Or you could become completely reborn and transformed through that mighty process of forgiveness and healing. You have the opportunity, if you have transiting Pluto in Aquarius, to become more powerful than you've ever imagined. And Pluto could help you fill your life up with wisdom and kindness and depth and meaning. And this transit wants to bring you, after you sort of walk across hot coals or eat glass for breakfast, a new vitality and energy and a power to build or grow or rebuild a whole new you. Your whole identity is changing right now, and you may have no idea what I'm even talking about. And let's say you're madly in love with yourself. Let's say you don't want a damn thing to change. That's okay. It's still going to. It's still going to. But you probably can't even imagine that you can even be better, stronger, more empowering, more loving, more compassionate towards yourself and others, more talented, more aware, more peaceful. With the sun Pluto aspects, you might also see that the people in your life are not living in their own truth. They may have not even been truthful with you. It could require you to get very honest about the people in your life currently and the people in your life who shaped your very identity, such as a parent or a child or a partner. Their problems could also change your identity. Maybe you find out that your partner has had a hidden sex addiction, maybe that you never knew about. And the process of that discovery and the healing of that could maybe change you forever. Maybe you find out that your child is addicted to fentanyl, God forbid, or heroin, or is a completely different person than who you thought they were. Maybe O.J. Simpson is your child, right? That'll change you forever, right? O.J. Simpson being your child, that'll change your identity forever. Maybe your child's Michael Jackson, that'll change you too. Maybe your child's Madonna, that'll change your identity, right? So Pluto cannot be planned out. It's not organized like that. It comes from karma. There's going to be an enormous desire right now to discover the deeper internal you, to go down deep inside of yourself and discover all the treasures and all the secrets that live inside of you and that come through you from your ancestors. And this is deep inner work. And so I'm so glad you're doing it with me. This is going into hell. This is going into the dark side of our souls and peeking into all the crevices and understanding yourself in a way that you have never done so before. You might even be scared of your own self or your own power or your own capability or your own bad decisions that you've made or your own ability to self-sabotage the very thing you want or your own power. Are you stronger? Are you able to hurt things or people more than you even knew? I am. I didn't even know I was capable of hurting anybody until I did, right? So this is getting in touch with your power. If this transit doesn't go right, and I think knowledge is power, and here you are with me learning, I think we can end up angry and feel like our lives have been ripped apart and victimized and bitter and upset and hurt and angry and pissed off and into just sheer madness. But if it goes right, we can become spiritually empowered. We can become psychically aware. We can become deeply truthful, and we can become changed forever. This is also a time when you can face your enemies with brutality or hatred or wisdom and grace. You can shatter your enemies to smithereens, or you can get wise and handle things, like I said, with this powerful grace, a powerful indifference, a powerful mind. Why? Because it's Aquarius. You could master the ability to see truthfully with pure objectivity right now, seeing both sides, seeing why you did something, why you made a bad decision, why it was bad for you, and also having compassion and grace and forgiveness for your own self. You could use Aquarian objectivity right now to heal the deepest wounds that live inside of you. So right now, the exercise is to ask yourself, and maybe even write it down, take some notes. What are you deeply attached to? What defines you? What defines you? Put it in the chat or the comments. What defines you? And when you have a serious Pluto transit to the sun, it usually brings us into an experience revolving around death of some sort, around the things we are attached to. It can be a literal death. It can be maybe even our own mortality, but it could also be someone else who we're in a relationship with, leaves us, says goodbye, abandons us, divorces us, or dies on us. Or, as I think it could more likely be for most of us, it can be a death of the ego or a psychological death of our psyche, how we perceive ourselves and our lives. There will be a death. There will be a loss of a part of us, a piece of us right now. We will change from this loss. So again, what do you have your identity attached to? Your family, your marriage partner, your lover, your financial security, your money, your earning power, your success, your A-list friends, your fame, the car that you drive, your religion, your philosophical truth, your body, your beauty, your status, your hair color, your skin color, right? What are you attached to? Your psychological identity comes from the deeper voice within you, the one that talks to you, the one that shapes your words for you and your beliefs about yourself. So do you say nice things? Like, do you wake up in the morning and go, wow, I am so great. Wow, look at me today. I look fantastic. Wow, I am just gorgeous. I wish I talked like that to myself. I teach this and I don't talk like that to myself. So I want you to know the way in which your inner voice talks to you will shape you. And it shapes your beliefs about you. And how you speak to yourself is how you show up to yourself. So do you talk like, I'm too fat, I'm a loser, I'm lucky? Or do you say, I'm beautiful, I'm safe, I'm secure, I can trust? Or do you wake up and say, I can't trust anybody, I hate the world? There's unconscious statements that we make as well too. And these are your psychological opinions about yourself and about your life. And with any Pluto transit, we are working with the unconscious part of ourselves. And Pluto is going to make it mandatory. This is a mandatory class for us to confront our own personal underworld. We will voyage into the unconscious parts of ourselves like the Titanic going down into the ocean. And we will find the buried treasures inside of us with a Pluto Sun transit. Now, if you don't have this going on right now, calculate through the chart and see when you will have a Pluto Sun transit. It might not be when Pluto is in Aquarius. So I invite you to do this deeper astrological work with me and watch my entire Pluto playlist and feast on it. And if you have this Pluto transiting Pluto in Aquarius aspecting your rising sign, it's very much like your sun sign. Now, like I mentioned, you can feel this transit when Pluto is 4 or 5 degrees in aspect to your planet. So if you are born in the first 5 days of Aquarius, you are feeling this. You are going through this. And because Pluto retrogrades for such a long time, it is going to probably cross that direct contact with your sun sign up to 3 times, maybe 4. And so you're going to get real zingers and booms when it's exact. And your Pluto story does not end until Pluto has pulled away from the degree of your sun sign by 5 degrees. So if you have a 1 degree Aquarius sun, you do not get free from the Pluto lesson until Pluto is more than 5 degrees away from your sun. So around the 6th degree is when that Pluto story is finishing up for you. As I mentioned, it is absolutely impossible to go through all the transits in the depth and the detail that they deserve, but I'm going to give you the aspects to the sun. And I hope that you will do 2 things for me. 1, please join this channel and become a member and take advantage of all of my master classes for a discount. And please like this video and subscribe to my channel because I have so many exciting announcements and I put them in my community tab. So ring the little bell so you can get my notifications on my upcoming workshops, lectures, activities, and all the fun details that we have going on at Soul Navigation. We have so many irons in the fire right now, and I want you to know all about them. You can also follow me on Instagram because I post over there as well. So if you have Pluto conjuncting the sun, this means you are born on those first 5 days of Aquarius. And like I mentioned, this is a time of massive change in your life where your ambitions are at the forefront. And right now, you, my friend, are playing to win. And you will not go down easily and you will not be swallowed up by obstacles. And this is a time to really play big. The stakes are high. And this is a time when you really can achieve your goals, no matter the cost. You have a great deal of stamina. Pluto is the agent of deep psychological change, and it will lend you soul power. Do not abuse it, though, towards yourself or towards others. This can be a time when you really step into and develop your superpowers, but you can truly exhaust yourself. You might also see that the change that is occurring inside of you and therefore showing up in your life irritates, frustrates, and threatens other people. And in the worst case scenarios, it could create combative or even violent reactions. People don't usually like to support us when we want to make these dramatic, drastic changes. And when we step into our superpower, it starts to threaten our tribe, right? We don't like it. My dear friend just moved to Thailand. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And at the end of COVID, I had over 16 friends leave where I live, and they all live somewhere else now. I didn't like it. Don't go off and be your best self. You're supposed to stay here with me in my friendship, right? I felt upset. I was like, why do you want to leave this great place, right? So you'll see. And when I moved from downtown Seattle to the east side, everybody called me a Stepford wife. I wasn't even married. I was still single, but I was having a baby and I wanted her to be able to go to a great school. And so I had to move. My friends did not like that. People don't like it. Most people are really uncomfortable with this kind of change. If you are unenlightened, or if you have an undeveloped, self-focused ego, or you're just immature, this energy is going to be very, very difficult. Now, I'm sure none of you watching this video are that, but this is a transformation deep inside of yourself. And I say, let other people change when they are called to. I'd also like to remind you to just not coast underneath this transit and let the universe decide how you're going to change. I mean, live with awareness, live consciously, and face the deeper truths about yourself that you don't like, and that you and find the parts and the pieces of yourself that you would like to truly transform. There is a death of your old self. Not every person is wise enough to do self-work with compassion and sensitive introspection, but I know you watching this are. So when Pluto sextiles the sun, so transiting Pluto in Aquarius at those early degrees, I want to tell you, this video is going to be relevant for 20 years because we're going to have Aquarius here for 20 years. And so this means you have your sun in the early degrees of Sagittarius or Aries. So when Pluto is in sextile to the sun, the energies support one another. And I'll say, though, however, the conjunction is like, boom, the bomb is being dropped. And with the sextile, it's very subtle. It's very nuanced. And the opposition and the square are also big booms. But the energies in the sextile are more refined and nuanced. And so it might be that magic is happening all around you. Transformative magic is happening all around you. It might be that you're moving too quickly through life to even notice it, but it's still there. This is a time of great, powerful, creative opportunities that can reform your life. And rather than a complete rebirth or a redo, I want you to think of this aspect as a reformation, like changing the shape of your life. This is a massive time for creative change in your life. You are going to be wildly innovative right now, and you're going to be willing to do things different. This is an upgrade, and you can rebuild or refurbish parts of your life that need fixing up. You can advance yourself with technology, with innovation, with advanced communication, with advanced learning, with higher intelligence. I would say the sextile doesn't bring quite as much turmoil. You may rebuild the psychological relationship that you have about yourself. The psyche is going to have a shift in it. And those changes that you're going to experience can alter the relationship you have with yourself and your true, authentic self, maybe the one you don't even have a relationship with yet, can become more apparent and activated in the world today. You might see that your interests and your self-expression metamorphose into a more powerful, a subtly more powerful you. You might get promoted into positions where your power is seen, needed, or utilized more. So Pluto squaring the sun, this means you're born in those early degrees of Taurus or Scorpio. And this, my friends, is not an easy transit. So I was born with this aspect natally. So I live with this aspect on a daily basis. And your strength and your energy will be tested. You need fortitude. This is growing a very strong version of yourself. You are no weak person. You need to eat your Wheaties, be strong, and tap into your emotional and psychological will right now. And I'm telling you that squares, while we might call them bad aspects, or challenging aspects, they are the great motivators. They are the initiators and the instigators. They are the catalysts. They get shit done. You might be exhausted by your own challenges or your own life. You might be just literally at your wit's end. You might feel like a rubber band that's about to snap. And then you're asked to even do more and more and more and more until it is just stretched completely, right? And so this has a tension and a stress. So I want to invite you to calm down. Take care of yourself. So like if you go work out at the gym, you need to take a day off and have your protein in order to heal all those little micro wounds. I was never truly a lost soul that completely, got off the path into an oblivion. However, I would not say I knew myself well in high school, and I started to discover my uniqueness, my specialness a little bit later in life in college. But I definitely would say that I felt a sense of loss. I felt a sense of Who am I? What am I about? What am I here to do? I felt daunted by my very existence. And so if you are like that, a little bit lost or a little bit of a lost soul or a big lost soul, this is a time when you get to meet yourself. If you know yourself well and who you are, you will probably be able to deal with the Plutonian crises that will find you right now. Pluto wants to grow you. There will be a great deal of desire to become successful and powerful and get ahead in your life right now. You will have sort of a passionate fire lit inside of you. And because Pluto squaring the sun creates ambition, like I can't even sleep at night. I can't rest. I always am thinking about how to do more, how to be better, what to do next, how the next goal, the next goal, the next goal, bigger, better, more, And it is an ability to literally develop a power of capacity, a power of like being able to hold a bigger bucket of water and then a bigger and a bigger and a bigger. You're growing your capacity right now. And you might try to step into your power and you might get shot down, or you might step into your power right now and be too much. Right now, you're learning how to get your power exactly right. So how can you use your power for the good of yourself, the good of your relationships, and the good for humanity? Why humanity? Because it's Aquarius, right? So we step beyond ourselves when we are working with Aquarian energy. We're always working with others, groups, organizations, and mankind, womankind. The one thing that I will say with the square is you don't like to hear the word no. So let's say you audition for the play and they say, thank you very much. And they cut you off in the middle of the monologue. You're like, what? Wait, huh? You don't want me to finish the song and the dance and the monologue? I prepared it all night. No, we're not really interested. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, you don't take kindly to that. It's almost like you could be so angry at having a door slammed in your face that you want to push the door open and explain yourself on why you deserve the part. So this is where we get into power struggles with Pluto squaring the sun. If anybody tries to stop you in your ambition along your pathway to success, you don't like that. So be careful with that. Remember, Grace, there's an ability right now, though, to find success and help others find success in them too. Help the group become successful. If you manage a team, your whole team could find success. But this is very stressful, high anxiety inducing, and this is a very tough aspect. And you may find that people don't accommodate your discoveries right now, or your new ambitions, or the rebuilding of your life as you wish it to be. And don't forget, miserable people love miserable people. So they want you to be miserable too. And if you're on the path to get healthy or sober or break your nicotine addiction or your pot addictions, you may need to leave the drunks behind. And of course, they will hate you for that. So kind of be prepared to be hated for the new you. There is usually power struggles with this aspect, and you might find bullies in your path. I know I certainly did. I mean, I had people in high school not like me because I had blonde hair and blue eyes. I know that sounds funny, but I had an entire Mexican gang bully me at high school, and it was scary. It was frightening. And so you have to find a power inside of you right now to face your bullies. You might need to take on people who believe deep down that they are bigger, stronger, and more powerful than you. And you might be, like I was, scared to death. You probably will need to find a great deal of courage to work with this aspect. So if you are a Scorpio in those early degrees, or a Taurus in those early degrees, I know you already are very, very courageous. Don't let others overstep their boundaries with you, but also don't you become the bully also. If they're the bully, you don't need to be a bully back. Find a different way. Find an Aquarian way. Give them no time. Give them no attention. Detach. Be cool. Be aloof. You know, Aquariuses don't let you see them sweat usually. They are the cool cat. They are the cool cucumber. They walk away. They literally flick you off and walk away. Have you ever been iced out by an Aquarian? Yeah, they have no F's to give. You are probably going to experience that there is a great fight to have. I'm not saying you have to win at this fight, and I don't necessarily mean it's a fight with your fists, although that could happen. With the new truths and the new self-discovery, that you have found about yourself and the rebirth that you're going through, this might create a power struggle in your world somehow. It may ask you to fight for your rights. It may ask you to at least resist others who want to have some sort of power or authority over you. And I have experienced both the physical and the psychological breakdown of stress of transiting Pluto squaring the sun. And you may have to take sanctuary, move more slowly, and rehab yourself, rehabilitate your physical energy and your psychological strength. Be prepared to take on challenges this aspect brings with an objective, fair, and balanced, cool, aloof, detached energy. This transit, like I said, can be extraordinarily, excruciatingly stressful to deal with. But if you stand in your wisdom and your kindness and your compassion, your love, your strength, your power, and your boundaries are clear, revel in your new revelations and authentic truths about the changes that are occurring in your life. Put those changes into play in a way that doesn't threaten your world, but instead, are you ready for this? Invites them to support you. That will take tremendous wisdom. So let's talk about when transiting Pluto trines the sun. This means you are born in the early degrees of Gemini or Libra. And I want you to know you have already survived really massive challenges and even big crises in your past. And now you're standing in the wisdom of those challenges and you are supported. And you have an opportunity to sit in a better position in your life, a more powerful position, and even loan your power, your strength, your wisdom, your objectivity, your knowledge, your mental prowess, if you will, to others who are also struggling like you once did. You're able to express yourself with a powerful mind, powerful communication skills, powerful wisdom. And this might be completely new to you. It's like all of a sudden your voice people want to listen to. All of a sudden people say, wow, you're smart. All of a sudden out of the blue, people are like, can you help me with this assignment? Can I look at your homework? Can you help me write this speech? Could you be my speechwriter? Could you edit this? Could you proofread this? Would you write my website for, And others might see you as powerful, strong, effective, and inspirational right now. This is a great time for you to step into your power with humility. And this aspect can really advance your life. You can not only help others reform, you can help systems, organizations, friends, family, business partners also reform and become more empowered. You can be a great example to the world right now. And you might feel like your world is dramatically changing. You might even invite those changes in. And these changes can bring you a great personal advancement and can allow you to get in touch with a deeper evolution of your soul to grow. You may become deeply insightful about your own life and your future life. And you may also at this time lean into the power of forgiving others for having once wounded you. I noticed my friend, he just had both his parents pass away, and they passed away fairly close together. He never mentioned the passing of one of his parents. He also never mentioned the passing of his other parent. I found out through another friend. I just thought that was so interesting. Like, he just went on in his life. Like, there was no beat missing. He's still doing all his hobbies, inviting us over for dinner, and I thought it was very, very interesting. The same loss to you might not have the same feeling of grief. So with this trine, you might have a great loss, but it just doesn't affect you the way it might affect a person who has the same loss but has a square or opposition transit going on. So sometimes the loss and the change and the reform in your life that's going on can actually maybe feel like a reprieve, or you can feel more in alignment with getting to be your true self with this loss, even if the loss is painful. You could also step into real physical power right now, and this is a great time to do Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong, or any kind of exercise that involves the mind, body, and spirit. Even weightlifting, if you have to tap into the mind and the spirit and the physical body, you can find that you can develop a superhuman strength right now that you've never had before. So let's talk about Pluto opposing the sun. Can you believe this? Like, this is deep, deep work. Pluto opposing the sun, this means you were born in the first degrees of Leo. And along with the square, this is extremely challenging. Sometimes I think oppositions are harder than squares because squares make things happen. They're instigators, where challenges are everything, oppositions are everything that you are not. And so imagine this is like Pluto staring at you. And you might find that you have a power struggle even within your own self. It's like you might feel like, I have to quit this habit. I can't quit this habit. I have to quit this relationship. I can't quit this relationship. And so you put yourself in a disempowered or self-sabotaged role. And you might feel like you have to stay in this unhealthy, unforgiving relationship in order to just make your life work. You might feel like, I have to stay married to this person in this stupid arranged marriage, if you feel that. And I really love somebody else that my family would not approve of. So I'll just stay in this arranged marriage, have my kids, and I'll just try to see that person on weekends, right? So I have to have my identity split. And so you might feel disempowered. And you also could come to realize that, you know what? Whoa. This price is way too high. I am not living from my authentic self, and I am living in an unhealthy relationship because I don't like it and I'm not even nice in it. And so I can't find my best self because I have to deal with you miserable person, right? And I have to adhere to your ways, and I don't want to. So that's what this opposition can feel like. You can feel like the price is just too damn high to have to pay every single day, and you don't want to pay that price of admission. It's like making that part of your life work. In this case, it would be like security. It's not worth it. And Aquarius is the free spirit, breaking free, creating a revolution, getting away, rebelling against. And so dismantling this power struggle is what is being asked of you right now. And that is scary. You might not do Pluto's work, and you might just pay the piper every day to live in this miserable relationship because you were told to do so, because your cultural existence is forcing you to, do what you're told. And until your parents die, you can't get out of it, or whatever. That's just one example. I mean, there are thousands of examples, but you might wish so badly that you just want to be miserable so much that you make the other person do your work for you. No, get out. Get out if you're miserable. Think of Pluto as this thing opposing you. This can be, I just mentioned, like an irony or a paradox that you have to live with, or you feel like you have to live with. You could be a victim of somebody else's domination over you, meddling with you, forcing you to be different, interfering with your life and your life's problems. And you might feel like the face that you show is not who you really are. And so there's a paradoxical irony that you're living out just with the face that you show and then that who you really are. You might do that with an addiction. You might do that with your personality. You might do that with a partnership. You might be doing that in a job. You might even feel like, wow, if the world even knew how sad I am, how melancholy I am, how depressed I am, how lonely I am, how broken I am, how much I really eat, how much I really drink, right? They would think I'm a really sick and twisted person, so I don't dare share with anybody this giant hidden problem that I have. And so I don't reveal myself to anybody in the world, and I live in this lonely isolation. You have to really take an honest look at yourself at this time and ask yourself, why are you treating yourself that way? Why are you behind the scenes not being who you are in public? And how can you get in truthful alignment and be that fabulous person that we know that you are? And stop self-sabotaging, stop living in a powerless way, but take the power and the control over yourself to stand in your true greatness. This is like trying to get rid of the mountain, the obstacle, the block that stands in front of you, so you have green pastures in front of you that you can walk merrily along. You might have a really hard time with this power struggle, and this power struggle either it exists inside of you or it's coming at you from somebody else or something else. But this is the time to get that power struggle to end. You may have to really look inside yourself and figure out how you can stand in your power and how you can fight back. You may need to exercise your independence right now. You may need to get out of the codependency, and you may have to take the risks that come along with becoming independent. You may need to prove to yourself that you're strong enough to stand up to those who oppose you. This is the time to maybe ask for help. Dig down deep within yourself and figure out why this is happening, the objective, truthful reason why this is happening. It might be that you're just involved with a narcissist. You might be involved with a sick and twisted person. You might be involved with somebody who just is absolutely bonkers and out of their minds. You might be involved with a pathological liar that you once thought was sexy, right? Why are you allowing this to happen? Where don't you believe in yourself? Try to find a support system that can help you believe in yourself. Make a plan to remove this opposition from your life. Get out from underneath it. You might also need to take an honest look and see if you're trying to control another person's life. Are you involved with a fixer-upper that can't be really truly fixed up? Do you need to get honest with it? Doesn't matter how many bills you help this person pay, how many rehabs you pay for, this person isn't going to do the work. Yeah, are you being excessively meddling and interfering with you have to remember this person has their own karmic journey to learn and you can't change it. They get to make their own mistakes. They get to learn their own lessons. They get to grow their own selves. You can hold their hand, but you cannot save them. And you might even realize that you can't even save your loved ones. The only person you can save is you, my sweet friend. So this aspect can really create a conflict with people who are the authority in your life, a parent, a boss, a commander, somebody who has a higher rank or who is stronger than you, stronger, taller, bigger, right? More influential, more money, more power. I don't know, the chief of the friend group, right? Like who's the alpha in your life? And you might need to learn how to take them on. Maybe not face to face, maybe not fisticuffs, but maybe you get very Aquarian and you play a strategic game of chess where you put them in checkmate. Yeah. Pluto does destroy things, and it destroys the parts of your identity when you're having a Sun Pluto aspect that you may have over identified with or identified with that are not healthy for you. It's going to bring the subconscious parts of yourself to light. I also want to remind you that Pluto is the planet of death, but it is also the planet of birth. And we call birth after death rebirth. So yes, while we have been focusing a lot on the losses, the devastations, the destruction, I want you to remember that Pluto does create a birth of the new you.